AI is changing everything sort of behind the scenes of what we do, I guess.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Mr. Matt Raad and super innovative business here. Matt buys, sells, and grows websites. And Matt, I want to start by just asking you in our, as we were chatting before the interview and discussion started here, you had mentioned that one of your top priorities is make sure that your kids learn AI. Why is that? Why is it so important for your kids to learn AI?
That's the way of the future. I think it's a no-brainer. And my kids have grown up, Mark, like your kids are now, in this world of websites and making money online. And they've seen Liz and I, buy and sell websites. They see all our clients. They've been to all our conferences as little kids. And it's interesting. I am presuming, I'm not like the pushy father or anything like that, but I'm presuming they are going to go into the internet space and probably to do with websites. And it's interesting, our daughter's just started university doing exactly that, and she loves coding. And of course, for her, she realizes for the last few years, we've been saying to her, look, this is going to be different from when we grew up. You're going to be able to stand on the shoulders of giants. What used to take all the coders months to create, that's now there for you for free with AI. And so you can build on top of it. So it's an exciting time. So particularly for her as a coder, but also for our son and all our clients, it is this is about to change in a big, I mean, Mark, it already has impacted us in a massive way because the sorts of sites we buy, as I was saying to you earlier, are content sites. And if there's ever a website on the planet that's been impacted by AI, it's content websites.
So let's break down what that means a little bit more closely, which by the way, I can't agree anymore. I've already am teaching my 4-year-old how to use Chat GPT. All he wants to see is dinosaurs and rollerblades, but it's still starting to learn it.
I'll give you a really good example. Here in Australia, I'm presuming it's the same in America. Sorry, with the kids, talk about that's awesome. You just made me think of it. Our kids are a bit older. So our daughter just finished high school last year, and our son, who here's a good lesson for everyone, parents, our son struggles with English, like writing the subject. He can't write very well. He's more creative, similar to me. I wasn't great at school in English. So what we do is we're all just sitting in front of the TV watching whatever, and literally Liz and I and our kids are there on Chat GPT when the teacher asks a question. I mean, should I say we neither deny nor confirm, but we may be using Chat GPT to help him with all his assignments because modern education, I don't know whether you guys have noticed, it's a bit full on. Like it's kind of strange, some of the questions they ask. And even mum and dad, like we're here, we're pretty bright. We couldn't interpret it. So we just said, oh, well, let's just use Chat GPT. We'll draft it up. And it's worked every single time. So for the last year or so, that's literally how, we draft up assignments for the kids. Just use Chat GPT. Done in 5 minutes while you're watching TV. Pretty. And then you got to tweak it. But man, and it's funny, other parents, heaps of kids, they're all doing it, just using Chat GPT to help them with their assignments. Why not? They're still learning.
It'd be
It's
silly
just
not to. It's kind of like doing math without a calculator or
yeah, that's
finding a place without GPS. And it's
exactly it.
funny, different educators have different opinions on this. I was hosting a local panel, a local principal was there, and she said, no, we don't allow any of the kids use Chat GPT. And I kind of told her, like, just so you know, probably they're all using it, just so you know. Um, but then I was also speaking to a USC professor, and he said, the first thing I tell kids when they come in is you must use Chat GPT on your assignment. And so it's kind of interesting, but I'm what I'm interested in how you're using it to optimize your sites, how you're using it to make money, because that's what we're here for. We want to make some cash. We want to quit our day jobs. We want to make a 6 and 7 figure business, maybe 8 figures if you're getting wild. We can go up to 8 figures.
And
But
8 figures, absolutely.
oh yeah, let's go. So, but I want to define what a content site is a little bit more. Are you talking about a site that's maybe focused on writing blogs, newsletters, generating affiliate links? What is how do you make money with a content site?
All of the above. So our original background in life is buying and selling bricks and mortar businesses, wholesale import businesses in particular. And as young entrepreneurs, we learned very quickly and that they suck up a lot of cash. So when we got online back in 2008, we just immediately went to, this is Liz, go Liz. Well, actually, both of us, we realized we don't want to do e-commerce, anything to do with physical inventory. So we did everything the opposite of e-commerce, and we discovered these things back then called blogs, or content sites they're called now, and literally all we had to do was buy them, fix them up, and we put advertising on them, and we optimize the advertising, or we optimize affiliate offers. So in a nutshell, I'm presuming a lot of your listeners probably already understand what that is, but that's all we have ever done online with online businesses. We just purely do content sites / blogs. So they could be food blogs, they could be how to play golf, how to knit, how to garden, any niche, don't care what it is. You don't even have to be an expert. And now, thanks to AI, it's even more powerful, because for us, the big thing that we love teaching people is how to do due diligence on a website, how to understand, how does it make money? Is it the real deal? Is it a good opportunity to buy if you want to buy it, or if you want to even emulate it and start, say, a 6 or 7 figure website? So in that due diligence process, that's where we've found chat or AI can really speed up certain aspects of that due diligence. It can be a really good tool, particularly if you're a beginner, if you're new to this, but even for us who are experienced, it just speeds things up so much. So like suddenly, instead of having an axe to cut down, I come from a farm. So instead of having an axe to cut down a tree, we've got a chainsaw. So what used to take, I don't know, a couple of hours, it's literally like a chainsaw. Now it's 5 minutes, bam. And that what I'm specifically talking about there in terms of the due diligence is the keyword research part. That is awesome with ChatGPT.
So that's what I'm curious about here, right? Because obviously your goal here is we want to drive lots of traffic to our blogs, lots of traffic to our websites. We're selling that traffic to advertisers. When people click on links and buy products, we get a commission, right? You don't have to deal with inventory.
No.
Great business model. It's basically all profit. I think Pat Flynn, Smart Passive Income, that was how he kind of got started. Who's been on the show a few times now.
Yeah, very similar. He teaches so we teach people how to buy those. And so in doing that, then we teach them how to renovate it. So as you're describing there, Mark, that everything we do revolves around content, which is basically written words.
But when I hear you say you're not using ChatGPT to write the content, to write the written words, are you? How are you using ChatGPT on the site to generate more cash?
We recommend, this is the bit where when it first came out, everyone said, oh, this is brilliant. We can knock out thousands of articles now in a day. We can get ChatGPT to write them. And we suggested, no, do not do that, because Google will not like it. And Google, you can tell ChatGPT written articles. What we found in our community, so we have a big community, a big data set. So we've been training people now for 15 years. So, and we specialize in training beginners. And the trickiest part for people, like anything, is just getting going, but making those initial moves. And so, and particularly if English isn't your strong point, so for myself, like I said, like my son, he blitzed English at school thanks to ChatGPT. I didn't have it and failed English at school. So for people like me and say my son and other people who English isn't their first language, maybe we have clients like that as well who've been hugely successful now with using ChatGPT to draft things up. And what's working really well is you can draft up your keyword research, which is a big part of due diligence on a website. But you can also, when it comes to content, so the way we renovate websites is exactly what you just said, is we fix up the content on an old website, or we add more. So what's really handy is to get those ideas and to direct our writers, because we hire writers. No one should be writing their own content. You use ChatGPT to do the drafts. Now it sounds really simple, but it's enormously helpful, because it's normally the bottleneck in everything we do is good content. So having that ability to draft something up very quickly has been life-changing for, that's too dramatic a word. It's made it very efficient for people to get going with this sort of stuff.
I think I think it is life-changing. Because it's so easy to sit in front of a blank page for hours and not actually get anything done. But when ChatGPT gives you the skeleton, it gives you resources, references, it helps get that pen flowing. Which, by the way, I'm assuming here, but one of the reasons that you prefer to buy an old website or an existing website is because it has domain authority. Would I be correct in?
And it has existing content, and if it's in a good niche and it's a proven model, so it means we can be making money. Like, we don't have to go through the build phase. We actually teach, though, really interesting, in more recent years, we think it's also equally as effective to be building websites, because you can't always find, the great deals to be buying. You should always have something on the go, because these are semi-passive, if you like, that you've still got to work at them. They're not as passive as what they used to be, but it's always good to have a couple of websites on the go part-time in the background. But the big advantage of buying them, yes, is they come with domain authority, existing content, and kind of they come with existing with traffic. That traffic these days is gold, absolute gold. So especially in certain niches like passion niches, it is hugely valuable because of AI, because people want real content and real communities. So that's the other thing that AI's allowed us to do, or it's opened up an opportunity now for these micro niche or kind of very passionate websites to suddenly be hugely valuable, and probably will be a lot more valuable to some of the big buyers down the track.
Interesting.
It really interesting to me is when we started on in this game, we used to recommend don't buy recipe sites, because there's just so many of them, and it's always got free content on it. These days, I've had to eat my words on that. They are selling good recipe sites with real followings and stuff, and now selling for millions of dollars.
Really?
It's just bizarre. It's because they've got a real following. But can you imagine how you can use AI now to help you build those real followings? Because that doesn't rely on SEO or Google. So AI is changing everything sort of behind the scenes of what we do, I guess.
Explain that to me. How do I use AI to build a bigger following? Because I can kind of understand building an outline, kind of writing out the framework for an article, maybe give me ideas for a few dozen articles. Like that, I get. How do I use it to actually engage more people? Because typically AI written content is not as engaging. It's very robotic and mechanical. How are you using it to actually drive that?
Well, what we're suggesting is using the initial drafts, but also you can use it to automate your social media or your newsletters or email lists. So email list is one of the things that we teach are hugely valuable. And a lot of people, myself included, when we first started doing this, we had mentors say to us, "Oh, you got to buy webs," or "You got to." That was no one bought websites back then. It was all about building them, and they'd say, get an email list going. And it's really good advice, by the way. But for me, as someone that doesn't like writing, it's a real blockage, because you've got to hire someone. And there's nothing wrong with, I'm used to hiring writers for really good in-depth articles, but for simple newsletter type stuff or emails, what we call email lists, I think everyone's jumping on this newsletter idea. The good thing now is, if you just want to get started with it, you can use ChatGPT to write all that stuff. It's pretty easy, and you can use it based on other content that you've written as well, or you can repurpose content using ChatGPT or some of the other AI writers out there. So the stuff that doesn't have to rank in Google, you can at least get going. So one of our problems we see with people is they freeze at everything, because it is overwhelming, and it's a bit hard to imagine. You're new to this, you've got to buy a website, fix up all the content. Oh, if you want to make millions off this thing, you really need an email list and a social media fund. It's like, oh man, that's just more content to write. Well, all that stuff you don't have to. You can at least do that even on a little tiny website that you bought for, say, $5,000. Now you can create content pretty easily. Not that it's on the $5,000 website, it's on the periphery stuff that you use to help drive it over the next 5 years or so. And so at least you can just get going with it. And that's what we've found has worked really well. I've got a really cool story, which is another interesting one. Is one of our clients is a really high achiever. She lives in New York, married with kids and everything, and she's Indian. So English isn't her first language. And so for Neha, whenever I'm helping her with a website, she can buy big sites, small sites, whatever. So I get her to start out on a beginner site. And I used to say to her, "Oh, your titles aren't quite right." And it's because English isn't her first language. And I've seen this a lot. And I just said to her, "Why don't you try using ChatGPT?" Instantly, Mark, at work, you should have seen a difference. Chalk and cheese.
Wow.
Just even rewriting the titles. And now one of the sites that she built, she uses that framework with her writing team. She doesn't write stuff herself, but even in editing it, she's using ChatGPT just on the titles, and that site's taken off. And not only that, she now is guest posting as, a pseudonym name like John Smith or something, and on some of the biggest blogs on the planet in her niche. They're really famous. And they think this John Smith is this John Smith dude from the middle of America who's an expert on crafting and things. Little do they know, she's an Indian mum of two in New York, and the articles, the guest posts that are drafted up completely with ChatGPT. She's not an expert on it, and they're just edited with ChatGPT, and particularly in the titles and things. And so for people that are listening to this, if you're not strong on English, the other area where we've seen ChatGPT work exceptionally well is on sales related pages or pages where you need call to actions. So typically most people that we coach are coming from working, for a corporate like 9 to 5, or these days it's 5 to 9, but they're not used to writing sales copy. So that's another hurdle to a degree. It's not a major one, but it's a valid hurdle when you're making significant money off these websites. It's all things being equal, it's really handy to know some copywriting. So that was a challenge for us as coaches, trying to get people that skill. Typically to have to outsource it or hire it. Guess what ChatGPT excels at? Because it's formulaic. I'm shocked at how good it is. Is it perfect? Gets pretty close sometimes. For a standard affiliate sales letter, like on your site, if you're promoting an affiliate product, far out. ChatGPT works well, surprisingly well. And I think it's because, how ChatGPT works, it goes off a massive database, and it looks, copywriting is formulaic. So ChatGPT just excels at that. It looks at all known knowledge around how to write a sales letter. So if you type in, pretend you're a SEO/sales agency, and we want to promote this dog training program, write me a draft letter. And then the first one's okay, but then you just go a bit deeper and deeper. And I am very, very pleasantly surprised at how well our total new beginners now are turning up, like Nihar, really good sales letters and really good titles in particular, which is, any SEOer knows that's super important. So for beginners, I think the game has changed massively. There's no excuses. You got to get off. You got to do it now.
Do you like to feed ChatGPT like the keywords that you want to rank for when you're asking it to write titles?
What we like to do is do ideas. So at the end of the day, we're still doing our own in-depth keyword research, but I like to use it, and we get our beginner students to do this, is go top level just to get the ideas going. So a really good example is, say, the health niche. It's a really good niche. Okay, so either supplements or learning how to be fit, doing weightlifting and stuff. So you might type in, you're an SEO agency, we want to write a big article, or I want keyword research around bodybuilding and weightlifting. Please give me the top level, give me 10 suggestions for what are the main things that someone would be looking up for. And then you just drill in deeper. So, one of the suggestions might be top 10 exercises to change your body quickly. So then you just drill into it. You go, okay, give me 10 more keywords around best bench press exercises. And so you can just keep going in. So then what it allows you to do, and you can keep going down. And so within that, you can get even more keywords. And then you might, when you get to something that looks really good, or even within those 10 suggestions, you might say, draft me up a paragraph on each, an outline, a synopsis for the articles. And then we talk with our team and say, this is what we want to create. So literally, when you think about it, within about half an hour or so of playing around with ChatGPT, you can plan out a whole renovation of a massive website. You can really go down the rabbit hole. And again, is it perfect? Sometimes I've got to say it's getting close to perfect. It's not, I want to reiterate, it's not content that we're outright going to post, but the keyword research behind it and the planning of it, it's as good as you need. And so, you might go best bench press, best exercises for your back. What are they? And you don't have to be a subject expert. It's just that brainstorming done within minutes and pretty much planning out the idea of a website. Because one of the other things that we teach is we like to get people to create, that term MVP, it's in the startup world, like minimum viable product.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Just get something going. So we find that really handy as a coaching technique to just get people doing stuff. And so this is where these sorts of, like what I've just described, people used to say, oh, keyword research is so hard, it's confusing. Well, guys, I don't care now. You got 30 minutes, you can plan out a whole 1,000-article website in 30 minutes with ChatGPT if you want. Once you kind of know what you're doing, how to drive it. So that's pretty impressive, like you said. But also, here's the other cool thing, talking of MVP, we get clients now to draft up websites, just even ideas, because we teach them how to do the technical side of building them on WordPress. Well, you combine that with ChatGPT, you can build a really good draft within an afternoon. And so at one of our coaching sessions that we had, I'll talk about Gen Zers, Mark. We've got Jack. He's a young guy who's been with us since he didn't go to university, he just studied with us. And he's a Gen Zer, so he's like in his early 20s. So he really does know, he's grown up around us and building websites. So he really knows what he's doing. So I want to reiterate that bit. He's got the background knowledge, but he loves ChatGPT. So him and all his friends just use it normally. He's a legend at it. He's really, really good and quick, and he just programs it however he wants. And I threw out a challenge to all us oldies who aren't Gen Zers and said, the challenge was to the group, you've got to build a website and show it to me, just a draft. I don't care how good or bad it is, just a draft with the main elements in place to show me that you've thought through a bit of keyword research, and it's got to be on a passion topic like, gardening or playing better golf or bodybuilding or whatever, something like that. Don't care what the topic is. I just want to see that you can do this, and I'll give you 2 weeks to do it. Anyway, we go out for a break, come back. So we literally go for a 30-minute break. We come back and Jack goes, oh, Matt, I've already done it. And I go, what do you mean you've done it? And I said, are you willing to show it to the whole community right now? He goes, yep. And he gets on, shows us it. It's not the outline. Everything is written. There was like 20, about 10 articles on there, 10 articles fully written. Okay, you got to rewrite them later. But the point is, all us oldies, I remember everyone said, oh, wow, their hairs just went up on the back of their necks. It was one of those, this was about a year or two ago, when ChatGPT first came out. Everyone was just awestruck. Within 30 minutes, this kid has created even the about page. I said, it was about hiking in rural America. This is Jack, who lives in rural Australia. He knows nothing about rural America. He said, I just use ChatGPT to research it. And I go, mate, that sounds real. And we had Americans on I was saying to him, does that dude sound real? They go, yep. He had a AI generated image. It was mind blowing. And I think it was at that point for all of us in our community, we realized, okay, this has changed. 30 minutes, we couldn't pick the difference. The about page was so well written, sounded like he'd hiked all the best mountains in the trails in America, listed them all out. He had his top 7 trails in America to hike. And he's never been to America.
It's crazy. Once you've experienced a situation, once you've experienced it, you realize that the world is never going to be the same.
No.
There were, in my agency about 16 months ago, I started using AI. I saved 90% of my costs in some places. I was doing things instantly. And I was like, This is crazy. The world will never be the same. And, I don't know if you've delved into this at all, Matt, but I've started to become very interested in automating ChatGPT with Zapier. I don't know if you've played with Zapier at all,
no, that's what Jack and some of the other younger guys in our community are right into as well, though. You know how you were saying earlier in the interview, I think these kids are just growing up. School teachers are saying, oh, we don't allow it. Sorry, school teachers. Every young guy, all the young people we know, that it's just par for the course. That's what they use. They're doing stuff like you're saying. They're already doing
We want to save time.
Yeah.
We want to save time.
Why waste time? Yep.
That's one of the things I like about entrepreneurs. We like to break stuff and ask questions later,
Yep.
When it comes to saving time, that is like at the top of the list. But when you start like automating surveys and forms into chat GPT, and then you can
Yep.
do all sorts of things from emails, email responses, chatbots. I'm working
Chatbots.
on a
Yep.
workflow now that will automatically write WordPress sites or WordPress pages. It'll need some cleanup on the back end, have an assistant go in and kind of clean up the formatting. But
Yep.
if I can get you to fill out a form for two to 3 minutes, like you filled out a form to join the podcast,
Yeah.
I could
Yep.
use all the answers automatically using Zapier to write an entire blog article just based on
Yeah.
those answers.
That is super cool. And that's where it's really handy even for total beginners to rewrite articles that they've created to put in this across their social media. That's the simplest way that we see for, I'll just say us oldies in this game to use AI very quickly and effectively.
And just to confirm, Matt, I'd really, I know we're going a little long here, but when you say repurpose for social media, are you saying like, hey, um, take this blog article and break it down into like
Yep.
10 different LinkedIn posts, and it'll kind of
Yeah.
break it down?
Yep. Or for Facebook or whatever. And you can do that even for affiliate sites and AdSense sites. It just gets the ball rolling because a lot of people, we teach people to buy websites in niche, like kind of, do you call not, I wouldn't say micro niche areas, but they're the traditional niche websites. And a lot of people don't do that sort of a thing, don't have a social media presence or don't have that footprint out there. What we're saying now is it's a lot easier than what it was before. You can do this in 10 minutes. You can create these little micro pieces of content with AI because they don't have to be SEO'd. It's just about getting the presence out there. And it's a really smart thing to do. Anyone can do it. It's again just getting people to do something. So it's always about that minimal viable product. When someone's new to something, if you're listening to this, you just want to take action. That's probably the most important thing. So we've found AI overcomes, or helps with inertia. Is that the word? Overcoming inertia. Like not
Yes.
doing those sorts of things.
Yeah, if I had one piece of advice for people ask me all sorts of crazy questions. I have one piece of advice is you start using ChatGPT for 10 minutes a day. Just even
Yeah.
if you don't even if you don't know what you're going to use it for, just open it up for 10 minutes and just ask it
Yeah.
questions. Problems. You got a problem with your wife? ChatGPT. You got a
Oh,
problem
yeah. That's
with your knee?
yep.
ChatGPT. You
Yep.
got a problem with your boss or your whatever? ChatGPT. Just use ChatGPT for 10 minutes a day. Matt, before I let you go here, I do have one quick question here. You're talking about sites that you like. What are 5 niches that you don't like for websites right now? 5 niches you don't like.
Oh, wow. Now that is a smart question because I love them all. But anything to do with the entertainment draws in a lot of traffic, and on the surface, you think that would be good, but we avoid entertainment related things because there's so much work and you've got to keep them going and you can run into copyright issues. Um, you need to be careful in certain finance niches with regulators. So we need to be, particularly in this day and age, with the way red tape is and everything. You need to tread very carefully. Similarly, we don't like full on medical sites anymore. Um, Google and the regulators have really clamped down on giving anything that vaguely relates to, the obvious one is financial advice, but medical advice, surprisingly. I mean, it's understandable too, but yeah, so that's ones that we would avoid. Anything that gives full on medical advice, you need to leave that to the doctors. Um, and what else? Just spammy looking sites that have no focus to them. That's that's the main thing we're on. We're trying to avoid.
Dig it. What do you think about AI websites, sites that talk about AI and whatnot?
Now they can be really good because one of the tools we use is Google Trends to see if something's trending, and AI is obviously trending at the moment. And that'll be evergreen. Like that's AI is going to be here for a long, long time. The challenge for beginners, if you're getting into AI websites, is it is very competitive, and you will need to do extra work out there. Exactly like what you're doing, Mark. You need to get a podcast, or you'll need to do social media, YouTube, or something like that. But the AI niche is absolutely brilliant because it's trending really strongly.
Yeah, it's got the volume. When I started making AI content, really focusing on it, there was very little competition, but there's a lot of competition for obvious reason. Lots of money, lots of opportunity, lots of volume. So
So in AI, my advice, if anyone's interested in getting into the AI niche, find a sub niche within it. So like using AI in podcasts, like what you do, or
yeah,
or using AI to solve, drive traffic or something like that. Find some sub niche within, or using AI to automate systems in your business, or or to help your teams grow, or something like that. You'd
Make
want to go
AI
sub niche.
girlfriends.
It will be really topical though for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you say there? Sorry.
AI, you can make AI girlfriends, like every
Yeah.
niche
Yeah.
within a
Well,
niche. How to make,
isn't that popular? Isn't that really big now? Isn't one of the main searches now or something? Men. Someone was telling me at a party the other day, men are now using AI as substitute conversations with even married men or something. It was a bit of a joke, but I think it was kind of accurate. That's here in Australia.
oh yeah. Yeah. There's a company, Replica AI,
Yeah.
that was making these avatars, and they were trying to kind of clean up their act to become more professional. They were going to go public. And what they found was that all their users were men, and they were using the robot, these AI chatbots, as sext bots. Um, and
Oh,
so,
no.
so the company Replica turned off that function, and they got thousands and thousands of emails from their users saying, "You just lobotomized my girlfriend, bro." And I'll tell you this bold prediction: within 10 years, half of humans are going to be dating these robots. There's no doubt it's going to happen.
Or having conversations.
Oh, yeah, forget it. Conversation. You're not going to be able to order a pizza without talking to an AI chatbot.
You're right. That's exactly that. I think that's in the next, what, 12 months even, isn't it?
Oh, very soon. Hey, I was talking to a guy. He's the largest contractor and builder of McDonald's in the United States, and he was explaining to me what McDonald's is doing with AI. Everything from facial recognition, voice recognition. As soon as you pull up to the drive-through, it's going to know who you are, what you order, what to upsell you. You can already see this when you go into McDonald's. You're not talking to a person. You go up, you push a button, a robot brings out your food to you. It's pretty crazy.
It's good in a way, though. I think it's a good thing that the change is, the human race is at a tipping point, or it's gone beyond the tipping point now, and it's here to stay. So you might as well embrace it. And that's why I love, like, what you're doing is teaching people, hey guys, this is real. This stuff isn't in 10 years' time. It's somewhere in the next 12 months, highly likely. They can certainly do this stuff now. The human race is changing before, like, literally, look, like, coming back to our kids. So isn't it interesting? Your kids and here's my kids, literally in their last year of high school, the most important year ever, they're using Chat GPT now to help them draft up everything. And like our own clients, we're using Chat GPT to draft everything up, and it's having a massive impact. Imagine where we're going to be in the next couple of years. It's an exciting space.
There are going to be tremendous opportunities for those that dive in. For those that dive in, Matt, thanks for joining the show here today. Matt, where's the best place for us to find you?
On our website, you can Google my name, Matt Raad, or you can find me on ebusinessinstitute.com.au. Whilst we're based in Australia, we serve people all around the world, and particularly in the US.
Love the business model, infinitely scalable, easy cash flow. Matt, thanks for sharing your best trade secrets today on the After Hours Entrepreneur.
Thanks so much for having me, Mark.